Hello everyone, I am Josh and welcome to this Sims 3 house building video. Now today I am back in The Sims 3 as you can see, and I am building a very large family house. So when I say very large, I mean it is truly very large. It's so long in fact that it took me about 7 hours to build this house in real time. So I did have to split this video, or this house build, into 2 parts. So I'd greatly appreciate it if you check out the second part after watching this. So when I say it's a very large house, I truly mean it. It has 6 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. So some people have been asking that I build a really big family house, and I think that this house definitely will fit their needs. So I think that you can sleep about, I think it's like 10 Sims in this house, or maybe more than that. 11. I think you can, no. Yeah, no, actually I think 12. I'm not really sure. I think you can have 12 Sims sleep in this house, so you can't have a household that big. So, I mean, you know, there's plenty of room in this house for any household that you could possibly have. So, yeah. As you can see here, I kind of raised the terrain up and building the house on somewhat of a hill. And I tried building a house like a day or two before this one that was just on flat ground, and I just wasn't feeling it. So I thought that, you know, it's The Sims 3, there's terrain editing, maybe I should incorporate some of that into this house. So the house does have a basement, as you can see here, with a kind of walkout part to it in the back, and also a driveway that leads to an well, it's not like an underground garage, but I mean the garage is under the house. So you can see there, I just put the basement in, and the basement is not really like below ground level. It's just because the hill that I put around the house makes it kind of underneath that. So I mean, like, if you were to flatten out the whole lot, the basement really would not be very far down. But it looks pretty cool, and you know, it definitely is a basement, so it's pretty neat. And the basement is pretty nice. It has like a pool table room. I don't know, it was just like an extra space I had, and it also has a home gym, so it's pretty nice space down there. And here you can see I'm creating a little bit of an area where you can walk out of the basement, and also doing one here. So there's a few doors that lead out of the basement into the backyard, so that's pretty nice. You can see here just softening up the terrain so it doesn't look so artificial. And yeah, so it looks really nice. And yeah, the house ends up looking really tall as well because it's raised up on this terrain. So I ended up using all 5 levels that you can use on a house because, you know, I wanted it to look pretty grand. So it does look very tall from outside. So like from the street, it's a very big house, that's for sure. And you can see here, I'm gonna add a tower, though I don't believe it's where it is now, but I do add a tower in, and I also add a freeze level above the second floor, so it looks like the second floor walls are a bit taller, which I thought was nice. And I also do this interesting thing here with the balconies and porches. You can see I put these columns here as supports for the flooring instead of putting a foundation under it, and it actually turns out really well. I don't do it right at this point because I couldn't get a column that looked nice, so I come back to that later, but it does work very nicely, and it's something that I haven't done before, so I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, you can see I just put some back steps there, nothing too exciting, and I do change up that part where I just put the railing in on the left side of the house. Like if you're facing the front of the house, it would be on the left side. I do change that quite a bit, so you'll see that. And right here I'm adding the freeze level, and I also changed the 2 large porches in the back, balconies in the back, because they don't look that great at this point, and especially once I put the roof on, you'll see they look a bit weird, so I do change that up too. But overall, the shape of the house is pretty much done. There's the tower, so that's pretty neat. It's really nice from inside with that tower because it's over kind of like a bonus room area, kind of in the upstairs landing. You know, there's a lot of like extra rooms in this house that just are kind of living spaces. Like obviously there's the living room, there's a study, there's kind of like that pool table room downstairs I was talking about earlier. There's also kind of just like a foosball room with like a fish tank and stuff on the second floor, so you'll see all of that. So it's definitely plenty of space for like the household that lives in this house to spread out, and everyone can have their own space, so that's pretty nice. You can see here putting the roof on, and you can see that on the left side it looks pretty hideous, so I do change that, which I'm doing right now. So I add that kind of extra bit of roof there, and I also change up the main roof quite a lot throughout this house build. So, you know, the roof was a bit challenging because there's so much diagonal parts to the front of the house. You can see there's like 2 diagonal protrusions. I don't know. That's probably not the best way to describe it, but yeah, it's a lot of diagonal aspects of this house, so it kind of made the roofing a bit difficult, but I figured it out in the end. So you can see here, just adding the front steps in, and I really love the landscaping on this house. It turns out so nicely, and I didn't mention this yet, but the name of the house is Autumn Heights. So the autumn part is because it's built in Appaloosa Plains, and I also took some screenshots when it was fall in the world, so like all the trees are yellow and orange. So it looks really nice, and also I'm building this house now because it's fall, of course. Unless you're in Australia, then it's not fall, but most places in the world it's fall. So this is my fall house, and you know, it looks really nice. And also the heights part of the name is because it's built up on the hill, so it's high up. So there you go. So here you can see I'm putting in those columns, so it looks really cool. You kind of have the columns are supporting the balconies instead of having a foundation. So it looks really cool. I don't know, I thought it looked nice. So you can see I'm doing that all over the place here. And yeah, there's also going to be 2 ponds. You can see I only put 1 out front now, but I will put a second one. And the landscaping looks really cool because of the hill. So I put some big bushes and a lot of rocks and stuff, and it looks really nice. So you'll see that. And I think I'm almost done with the roof. Oh yeah, so here's where I changed this part because it just wasn't looking good. I think I change it once more after this. I get rid of that kind of freeze area over the balcony area, so you'll see that, but for now it looks a bit weird because it's like a giant square part of the house in the back, so it just didn't look right. And anyway, you'll see I change it. It looks quite nice, and that's all good. So right now I'm just gonna add a little dormer over here, which I later get rid of because like I said, I'm gonna change that part of the house too, so you'll see all of that. Anyway, the colors on the house are pretty nice. You have a kind of dark green, which this green is not dark green, but I do change that. And so it's a nice dark green siding and then just some kind of brown stone. So it's a pretty warm color on the outside. Like, I mean, the green's not a warm color, but the stone kind of brings that nice warmth to the house. So you can see I'm doing that there. And there's quite a lot of stone, and you know, it just looks nice and cozy. So also I put this white shingling on it. So like these cedar shingles, but they're not cedar, they're painted white. So I do use those too, and you can see they look quite nice, and they kind of add a third color to the outside, so it's not like just two-tone. And here I'm just removing all the excess roof bits that were inside the house. And I think I might start on the second floor at this point, although I'm not sure. So yeah, there's the stairs, and I also have a lot of open ceiling areas on that front part where the diagonals are. So you can see here, there's kind of this nice open area where the stairs are, and then that room that I was talking about with the foosball and the fish tank, the foosball table and the fish tank is going to be next to the stairs on the second floor and underneath the tower, so that has like a really tall ceiling, which is pretty nice. So here you can see I'm just working on the floor plan a bit. That there's going to be the master bathroom, and the master bedroom I'm putting it in right now. There's the master bedroom, and I just put the bed in there. So that's the master bedroom. Quite nice, large room. It's only one of 6 bedrooms though, so this is definitely a huge house, and that's why it took me so long to do it. 7 hours. I mean, it's probably about the same amount of time it took me to do, what was that Sims 4 house I did? Oh, Woodbury Estate. Yeah, that large house. This probably took about that same amount of time. So yeah, it was a long build. But I also feel like it takes longer to build stuff in The Sims 3 anyway, just because of creative style and the way that I always like to make sure everything is colored exactly the way it should be and all of that. So I end up spending more time in The Sims 3 when I build a house, I feel like. So, you know, that is a factor you have to consider, but it still took a long time to make. And right here, I'm just trying to move the back wall in by 1, but it was being a little bit messy, so I had to kind of readjust everything. And that's just so this kind of balcony area here is not a square. Instead it will be a rectangle, which looks quite a bit nicer. And you can see I got rid of the frieze over the balcony. So it's just only over the room, and right now I'm just putting the columns back in because they need to be readjusted. All the railings and everything need to be readjusted, so I'm just doing that now, just so this kind of back area looks a bit nicer, because like I said, I didn't like it, so it looks quite a bit better once I do this. And there you can see I'm putting the roof on, and yeah, so all is well now. Almost, not quite done. There's another bit of roof, and there we go. So that part is now finished. You can see it looks quite a bit nicer. And yeah, also I get rid of that wall. You can see like the wall that the roof creates kind of made that balcony like a really dark color for some reason, so I fixed that. Here I'm changing the siding color, so you can see I go with a bit more of a darker muddy, kind of warmer green, which I thought was nicer, made it look a bit more cozy. I don't know, just my opinion anyway. So you can see there, that's the final color I go with, and I don't change the roof color, actually, I just leave it the way it was. And here I'm changing the color of all of the railings and columns, so they're kind of white and gray. So you can see here, the railings have kind of this gray top and bottom to them, and the columns kind of have this gray accent to them. So, you know, it just looks a bit more interesting. And of course, I had to use Creative Style here and change every single one, because you know what I really should do is change the color of them before I place them all, and like choose the color, but for some reason I just never do that. So I kind of placed all the columns and had to come through and change all their colors, which was a little bit of a pain, but got through it in the end. And you can see here just changing all the railing colors, and I also changed the shingle color to a bit more of a bright white. And yeah, so hopefully we'll be finishing the exterior colors relatively soon, though I'm not sure, because there's still quite a bit more to do, and like I took my sweet time finishing the exterior colors. I don't know why, but I just did. And you can see there's some more stone, and you can see there's a nice little dormer up there on the top that's just for show, but it looks kind of nice. And I'm changing the foundation color so it all matches. And I think windows are going to be happening sometime soon, but I think maybe not. I don't know. I always get ahead of myself when I'm recording these. I never know what's going to happen next, so yeah. Anyway, we're working on the floor plan a bit more. You can see that's the second floor plan finished, and there are 4 bedrooms upstairs and 2 bedrooms downstairs. So here I'm just kind of messing around with the floor plan downstairs, and that front room there next to the stairs is going to be the study, and there's going to be 2 bedrooms there. You can see I made, and the big rectangular room that's going to be in the back, you can see I haven't quite finished it off yet there, I just finished it off now. That's going to be the kitchen and dining room, and on the left side here is going to be the living room, and that big rectangle I just put in the middle of the room will be a fireplace, and you'll see it looks pretty cool. So here I'm redoing this part of the house. I was saying I was going to do that earlier, so you can see I'm doing it now, and it does look quite a bit nicer once I finish it. So it looks a bit nicer than it did before, so I can get rid of that giant roof and just kind of put a smaller one in, and it looks quite a bit nicer. So, and yeah, so there you go. Now I believe I'm done with roofing, hopefully. So yeah, and here I'm just finishing up the colors of the house, or I think I was just continuing them, not necessarily finishing them. And here I'm just putting some columns on the edges, excuse me, on the edges here of this bay window thing. So I'm putting the columns on the edges there, so it just kind of adds a bit more detail. I like to do that in The Sims 4, but you can't really do that in The Sims 3 because the columns don't snap to the edges, so I kind of just like put them in as close as I could. I don't know, I thought it looked nice. And you can see I put the fireplace in the living room. There's also a fireplace in the dining room, and there's also a fireplace in the master bedroom. So plenty of fireplaces in this house, that's for sure. And you can see here, I'm going to put in the front door right about now. There it is, beautiful. Nice front door there, changing the color of it. And I think I'm going to start on windows now, so that's pretty exciting. So I use a lot of base game windows with this house because they're quite nice actually. So you can see I'm putting them in here. And I also get some nice arched windows from, I think, Monte Vista, that world. I think that's what those the arched windows I put in later come from. So you'll see I have like a nice combination of square windows and arched windows. It looks quite nice. And here I'm just choosing windows. It took me a little while to figure out what looked good because windows place kind of weirdly on diagonals, which is a little bit annoying, but you know, I figured it out. Got the those windows on that bay window there are from the Mid-Century Manor set, I believe, so they look pretty nice. And I also changed the windows on the top of the tower, so I think they changed that like way later. That might even be in part 2. Actually, that is probably in part 2, so you'll see that later. And yes, like this part of the video is basically all exterior and most of the landscaping, and then I do the living room. And part 2 is going to be the rest of the furnishing of the whole house, and then I finish up some of the landscaping in part 2. So, you know, like all the building basically happens in part 1, and all the furnishing happens in part 2 mostly. So, yeah. Anyway, putting in some more windows, and you can see I haven't put the garage door in yet, but I think I'll do that soon, hopefully. And putting a nice little kind of roof there over that little balcony for the master bedroom. Yeah, the master bedroom has a lot of outdoor space, like it has 2 balconies off of it, so that's pretty fancy. And here you can see it's moving that wall there, so that's going to be a walkout door, a door that walks out from the basement, and that's going to be, I think, the home gym. So the home gym does have a door that goes outside, so there it is. And I'm putting all the doors on the balconies. I think I'm finally going to finish the exterior colors. That took me forever to do, but I think I'm doing it now. Yes, we are. Beautiful. Getting some stone in there in that bay window, and some more stone over there. So, yeah, I don't know why I took forever to finish the colors on the outside, but for some reason I did. And I think we're going to do we're going to do some more windows. That actually wasn't what I was going to say, but that's what we're doing. So putting some more windows in, and I think we're almost done with windows, so that's pretty thrilling. And there's some doors out to that balcony there. And yeah, so I'm trying to find a nice window for that dormer, and I used the arched window there, which I was talking about earlier, so I put some more down the side there. So those arched windows are from Monte Vista, and I don't tend to use them very often, so it's nice to have them. There's the second pond, and I think we're beginning on landscaping now. So I do the front landscaping. I think I do almost all the landscaping before I go inside, and then I kind of add some finishing touches afterwards. But I don't know, I just did not feel like furnishing this huge house when I first finished building it, so I thought, you know what, let's do some landscaping and put off the furnishing. So you can see here, it looks really cool with the landscaping kind of cascading down that hill, kind of having the rocks there. I don't know, I just looked really cool. And I love the colors in the landscaping, kind of have like red and white flowers and like all the green bushes and everything. I don't know, just to me it looked really classy. Here's the driveway, which I actually make it curved instead of straight like it is now, so you'll see that. So, you know, pretty nice driveway there it is, curving it. Beautiful. And a nice kind of curvy driveway there that leads to the garage door. And the front walkway there. I also put a fountain in the front walkway, but I think that's a bit later. So putting in some more plants and rocks and everything. And I don't know, I'm just so happy with the landscaping. It's like, this is one of my favorite Sims 3 houses I built recently, so really happy with the way it turned out. Putting in some more rocks, you can see there's a lot of rocks in the landscape, but I don't know, I really love rocks in landscaping. It just adds like that extra dimension to it, especially when you have like a hill or something like that. You can see I also just put in the garage door, finally, and I put a nice tree there. Put in some nice trees around the place. There's a beautiful yellow tree. And for the screenshots, I changed the season to fall. So in the screenshots, you'll see like all the trees in the neighborhood are like red, orange, and yellow. It's so nice. I don't know, I love fall. It's like one of my favorite seasons in The Sims and in real life. Just so beautiful. So was winter actually with the snow and everything, but winter's just a pain because you have to shovel. But anyway, you can see putting in some more plants, and you have those nice kind of red poppy flowers you can see. I think those are from Monte Vista as well. Yeah, and also speaking of Monte Vista, there's a lot of store content and expansion pack content in this house. I actually wouldn't be surprised if I used something from every single expansion pack and stuff pack. So I do apologize if you don't have all the stuff and you want to download this house. So I mean, you can still download it, it just will replace some items, but yeah. I was going to put a pool here in the backyard, but I actually don't make it a pool and I change it to a greenhouse, which is pretty interesting. So you'll see I changed it to a greenhouse and I put some stuff in there at the very end of part 2. So that's something to look out for. And here I'm just going to do the floor plan for the basement, which I took forever to get to. So here's the giant garage. You can actually fit like 3 or 4 cars in there. I only put 2 in, but you could fit way more if you wanted to. And there's a bathroom there behind the stairs, which I actually forget to do in this video. So I never do that bathroom on camera, but if you download the house, that bathroom will be finished because I did finish it off camera because I realized I forgot. So not the biggest deal, but I thought I'd mention it. And you can see here the first floor is very open. Not really, but I mean, it's kind of open. There's no doors or archways, but there are a lot of walls. So, you know, it's not too bad though. So it's kind of, it flows pretty well, I think. So you'll see that when we get to furnishing in the next part. Actually, we do the living room in this part, so you'll see that this time. And yeah, so right now I'm going to enclose the pool and then realize that the pool is a bad idea, and then I'm going to change it to a greenhouse. So you'll see how this kind of thing here evolves. I don't know, I just thought there should be something in the backyard because there's just like a giant empty space in the backyard, so I thought, why not? Yeah, I was going to put this roof over the pool and then realized, you know what, why not? If I'm going to use the greenhouse pieces, I might as well just make it a greenhouse. So yeah, so here's where I kind of destroy it all, and here's where I start converting it into a greenhouse. And it does take a little while because I have to keep adjusting it to fit those roof pieces, but I get there in the end. So you can see here there's kind of like that base foundation in the middle, and then kind of just some posts on each corner, so it kind of looks like it's a just held up by those 4 corners, but I have that foundation in the middle, so that holds it up. And here we go. You can see it finally fits the roof, and putting those nice roof pieces on. And yeah, those roof pieces and the windows that I use on this greenhouse are from a store pack. And I can't remember the name of it, but it's a greenhouse store pack. So you could probably find it on the Sims 3 store if you want to download it, because it's pretty cool. I mean, like, I don't use it all that often, but when I do, it's kind of nice to have. I don't know. Because, yeah. So right here, I'm making it nice in stone, and I'm using the matching windows that came with that those roof pieces. So they're kind of like greenhouse windows. You can see they're kind of open, and it looks pretty cool. So I'm just putting those around it. And also when I put a nice door on it in a second, and there's a door. So a nice greenhouse there, and I'll come back to it and finish it up later. So now I'm going to just quickly readjust the floor plan there so I could fit a bathroom in the first floor, because that's pretty useful to have. And you can see I just opened up that wall, so it was going to be a 7-bedroom house, but I got rid of one of the bedrooms and kind of made it like an extra bonus kind of room, because it just, you don't need 7 bedrooms in a house. I mean, there's no way you'd need 7 bedrooms. And I didn't want the whole house just to be all bedrooms, so I thought I would sacrifice one of the bedrooms to make it kind of like a living area on the second floor. So that was a nice addition. So here I'm going to just add some stone here in the living room, a bit more columns. And this was my idea behind having these wall pieces here, was to have some bookshelves on either side of the fireplace that were see-through, so there was no backs to them. You can just kind of see through to the other room a bit. I don't know, I was like really happy with how this turned out. So the only bookshelves I could find that looked good enough are these from University Life, and they have like those kind of boxes in them, which I wasn't too happy about, but those were the best bookshelves I could get, and they look pretty cool. So you'll see that. You'll also see that in the screenshots at the end of part 2, so those are pretty nice. I also put a seesaw and some swings out in the back if you want to move some child sims in or something like that, so that was pretty nice. And I also put the little garbage can over here in the back corner, so it's kind of hidden from view. So what am I doing here? Oh, actually, here's where I change up this roof. I said I was going to do it in part 2, but I guess not. Who knows? These videos are always full of surprises. So yeah, I ended up getting rid of the roof over this part and just making it kind of like a fake balcony thingy. So you'll see how that evolves. Just because the roof just didn't look good, and it was also clipping through the wall, like, because I wanted to have that tower be open. But when you use those octagonal or hexagonal roofs, the roofs on top of them don't cut them out, so it just was driving me nuts. So what I did is I changed up the little area there, so it's no longer a roof, but it's kind of like a fake balcony, and I put a nice large arched window there. So that's what I ended up doing. It looks pretty cool. And I also changed up the roof a tiny bit more now that I think about it. So I do add like some more peaks to the roof, so you'll see that. But otherwise, the structure is mainly done, and I'm also putting in some more landscaping, so that's exciting. So I'm finishing up the landscaping in the rear. So you have some more rocks, of course, and some more plants all over the place. And again, I just love the look of it with the rocks and like the hill, and it just looks so cool. I don't know. I just love like multiple levels and like dynamic terrain and stuff. So like, you can see all the stairs going everywhere. And I don't know, it's like something that's just missing in The Sims 4 for me. It's just the way that the terrain, how you can change the terrain and just make the house look so much more interesting, and have like the walkout basement, and just, I don't know, it's just so cool. You can also see I put in another yellow tree, and I also put in a pink tree, so there's some nice colors going on, and putting in some more bushes and stuff like that, so it looks all pretty nice. Putting in some terrain paint here, and yeah, so I think that's the basic landscaping here. I will come back later, touch it up a bit more, mostly in part 2, although actually I put some more bushes down this side of the house actually, so not quite done, but almost done. So you can see the landscaping in general is pretty simple. I mean, it's just some rocks, some bushes, and then some flowers, which I guess most landscaping does consist of those things, but it's not like hugely over the top and like all perfectly uniform, you know, it's a bit more natural and wild, but it just looks so good. I don't know why, I'm so happy with it. Yeah, so I also put some more peaks on the roofs, just so it looks a bit more interesting. I don't know, I thought that it would help a bit. And inside the house, we're going to begin on the entrance living room area. So the entrance is kind of interesting because it's split into 3 separate parts. So I don't know, I thought that would be kind of an interesting idea, just so it kind of broke it up so it wasn't just one huge room. I don't know, that's just what I thought would work out well. Yeah, so here you can see I'm putting in a bit of interesting flooring in that kind of center bit, and here I'm putting in some nice white wood flooring in the living room. So there's quite a lot of flooring in this house. Well, of course, there's a lot of flooring in the house, but I mean, there's a lot of variety of flooring in this house. So you kind of have like that brickwork, that and 2 different types of wood. Just because it's such a big house, it would be kind of boring if it was just like all one type of flooring. So I kind of mixed it up a bit, and you can see I put that other flooring in this hallway area just to kind of make it look a little bit different. Yeah, not so boring. So also putting in the flooring in the dining room and kitchen there, and I'm going to furnish the entrance and living room in this part of this house build, and then in the second part I'll do the rest of the house. So if you want to see the rest of the furnishing, I definitely check out part 2 after watching this. So here you can see I'm choosing a wallpaper for the entrance area, and I go with this kind of paneled one with a bit of green wallpaper along the top. And I also was going to put some plants in the middle of the entrance, but it just does not turn out well, so I don't end up doing that. I end up having nothing in the middle, and I just have some stuff on the sides, and I also put some statues in, which looked pretty cool, so you'll see that in a moment. And yeah, I put a fountain. This is where I put the fountain outside, so I do that right about now. There it is. So there's the fountain, and I landscape around that in part 2. So there's the statues that I was talking about. So they're kind of like Greek statues there, kind of at the end of the hall. I don't know, it looked pretty fancy. And here I'm putting in a side table with a nice mirror over it and some plants. So just, you could put your Sims could put their stuff on there or something when they walk in the house. Who knows what they want to do. Putting in some lights and putting a little front mat in there so your Sims don't track mud into the house, so they're not naughty Sims. they can have something to wipe their feet on. And there's a nice bamboo plant, and I also put a mirror in the entranceway there so you can check how you look before you leave the house. And yeah, just trying to find some random clutter items. Oh, there's a nice little shoe rack there, so theoretically your Sims would put their shoes there, though of course they can't do that. And what am I looking for here? Oh, here's the fish tank. I do put that upstairs. There it is. So that's going to be like kind of that bonus living room area. So you'll see that in part 2. And you can see here's the fireplace area, and right now Crystal like literally just completely flipped out on me and lagged all over the place, so that was fun. I don't know what was going on here, but yeah, you can see Crystal just was not having a good day right there. But then it kind of figured itself out and everything was fine, so I don't know what that was all about. But anyway, you can see my kind of really cool bookshelves there, which are see-through on either side of the fireplace. And yeah, so this area here of the living room is going to be the living room part of the living room. And the other side is going to be a piano area, so there's like a little couch and a piano. So if your Sims want to play piano, they can increase their music skill and that kind of thing. So you can see here putting in a variety of chairs in the living room, which I thought was pretty cool. So you kind of have like a mix of chairs and couch, and like the materials are all kind of different. I thought it looked pretty cool. So you can see it just makes it look a bit more interesting and just like less uniform and perfect. So like maybe they bought all their furniture from like different places and, you know, collected it over time. Who knows? I just thought it looked pretty cool. And here I'm choosing this paneled wallpaper. So it's kind of got this like soft greenish color to it. Just like a really nice elegant paneled wallpaper there. And also putting in some bookshelves. Of course, because gotta have bookshelves. Bookshelves are like the best space filler ever, and I have so many in this house. It's crazy. I mean, there's so many bookshelves in this house. I also put that really cool chest coffee table there, under the window, because I thought it looked pretty cool. And I love to use that chest coffee. There's also one in The Sims 4 as well, so I like to use those chest coffee tables kind of as accents and things, so they look pretty cool. I also put a nice stereo there on the chest coffee table, and there's the TV and just some details around the place, and it all turned out pretty nicely. So here's the piano. So I've got a nice piano in the front area of the house, and I also put some rocking chairs over here, like off to the side. So, you know, rocking chairs are pretty cool. So your Sims can rock out on their rocking chairs. So they're not really rocking out because they're not playing music, but anyway, there's some rocking chairs there. And also putting in some curtains, some nice curtains that match the wallpaper color. And I'm also going to put in a mirror there. Anyway, we're almost done with this part of the video, and if you enjoyed this house build so far, I'd greatly appreciate it if you continue watching in part 2. And there's also some great screenshots at the end of part 2 for you guys to check out, so I hope you stick around for that. Anyway, I'm going to finish this up pretty soon, and also this house is available for download. There will be a link in the description, so you can check that out.